Team Sonic Racing is finally here. It's the latest Sega racing game they've been hyping us up for the past year or so. Although this time around, all of the Sega superstars are absent, and it's just Sonic and friends in for the duel. At first glance, it looks like your typical karting game. Race to the checkered flag and stun your opponents with items along the way for a better chance of becoming the victor. Although there's a brand new mechanic brought into the speed battle, which uses the power of teamwork. Coming first in the races here aren't exactly going to guarantee any triumphs. You have to collaborate with your buddies and work together to finish as close as possible to the top 3. I was very lucky to get a review copy of Team Sonic Racing a few days before the official release, thanks to Dead Good Media, and I got to work on this video right away. It goes without saying that this video will be spoiler heavy, so strap your seatbelts in because this is going to get expeditious. This is my Team Sonic Racing review. Powering up the game, you get your Sega splash screen and Sumo Digital Presents, followed by what I believe to be the only CGI cutscene in the entire game. That's not a problem, and it's very well put together and shows you're in for a good time. Next is the title screen and then the menu. I checked options first as I always do, but then I remembered I got the PS4 edition and there's not a lot you can change. Your audio controls are basic, the video choices are extremely pointless, and lastly, you have the controller settings, in which you can only decide between 2 pre-applied possibilities, and all it does is change the acceleration and drift buttons around with the camera and item controls. Why can we not assign the buttons ourselves? An advanced option would have been nice. Back to the menu, you have Team Adventure, which is the main campaign. If you want to avoid the tell, go to this part of the video now, otherwise prepare to be spoiled in 3, 2, 1... The story begins with a new character called the Dompa, a tanuki species, inviting Sonic, Tails and Knuckles for some team races at the beach against Amy, Big and Omochao to prove who's the fastest, but fails to elaborate the exact reason why they're doing all this. Everyone seems suspicious towards the guy, and it may be an evil scheme from Eggman. But Sonic assures the gang they'll all be safe with him around, and they go on ahead to Planet Wisp. And that's the end of the story. So, firstly, where's Cream? Secondly, who's dumb enough to accept a request from a random stranger to comply with demands who you may suspect is evil and not give any enlightenment? This blue dope, that's who. And finally, I then played Team Adventure for a whole 2 hours, not realising I was skipping all of the narrative. Who on earth thought it was a great idea to correspond the main selection button, which practically everyone uses, to skip the plot? You have to press square to play the game and the story. So I had to go back to the previous stages and reload them all up again just to catch up with the discussions. Seriously, these buttons need to be the other way around. Anyway, to compete in the races, the Don himself supplies the crew with cars he created via the power of science, and explains there are 3 types of engines, all with their own perk. One is used for speed, that helps you avoid incoming projectiles. Another is the technique type, allowing you to drive on any surface without slowdown. And the final kind, power, grants you less to no stumbling when colliding into obstacles. The Don also lets you customize your ride with these R tokens you rack up on winning races. This is pretty much the only time you're going to be seeing the Sonic R symbol, as it has no other significance to the game. So yeah, it was for marketing. The 6 bump into Blaze and Silver, who have also received invites through time and dimensions. While they're in, they're also cautious, indicating that this guy must be powerful to be able to send telegrams over the space net, I don't know. Also, Vector shows up unpleasantly, but he makes himself leader of Silver's team anyway. The Git. A few races later, and Eggman makes himself present. With Tails immediately jumping into conclusions, the madman assures he's not part of any evil arrangement with the Don. Sonic also begins to get apprehensive and goes to speak to Shadow, who coincidentally appears and joins them in the race out of the blue. He's determined to win, but confirms he's not in any bad plot with the Doctor or the Tanuki, and also wants to stop any evil deeds from either party. It's then when Silver bumps into Eggman and the Don, negotiating over an engine, and alerts the squad it's a trap. However, not now, Silver. Sonic and Shadow have more important things to do, like a showdown, and a domestic is happening between Amy and Blaze. God, just calm down, Silver, alright? Just take a chill pill. Eggman starts throwing tantrums as he keeps losing and cheats by throwing egg ponds all over the road. The Don is fine with this as it trials them further. Later, Savik and Metal Sonic come in as reinforcements by Eggman to help with a few races, but that still fails. Also, Savik again? I'm just not going to go there. Vector thought this was the time to tell the gang he was brought here by Tails to investigate. Espio and Charmy, all off screen, are digging up any evidence they can find. But Knuckles gets impatient and demands answers from the Don. He reveals that he's the president of his own motor company and the king of another planet. He's building the ultimate engine to help reduce pollution, but still be prevailing enough for racing. And to muscle it, no petrol or gas is required, just the power of teamwork. Eggman then kidnapped the Don, demanding the engine, but it's not finished. And it never will be, because Sonic and company have stopped racing, and are now looking for the Don. When they find Eggman's base, Eggman wants to race for the Don's release. I couldn't think of another rhyme. Sonic wins. Then the scientist says, 2 out of 3? 3 out of 5? Try against Metal Sonic? With Sonic's love for speed, he agrees, unknowingly generating energy to complete the engine Eggman desires. Later, the Don announces to Eggman that the engine has fulfilled its capacity. Then Eggman predictably steals it in front of his face. The Don astonishingly didn't see this coming. Eggman sticks the engine into the Death Egg robot, and you have to have one last race against him and his minions and kick their behind. Once done, the robot goes berserk and automatically starts heading for the energy core of the fortress. And Sonic, with assistance from Tails and Knuckles, must go and save the Don to get out of there alive. Alright, one more race, this must be... Oh, it just exploded. Amy on the ground... Wait, how did she suddenly get there? Is worried if Sonic and his team made it out alive. Suddenly Sonic and his friends who have saved the Don and brought him back to land. A cheer happens, credits. What? That's the most anticlimactic ending ever. After taking 7 hours to get here, the whole citadel is about to explode, and the hero saves the Tanuki and brings him back to safety, all off camera and off gameplay. So disappointing. For a simple story, I have a few questions. Why didn't the Don tell them that this was for a good cause from the beginning? Why did Tails keep quiet about getting Vector to detect? What happened to Eggman at the end? To be totally honest, I think there must be more. Why? Well, here is how the system works. Before each start, you get some intel to meet during your race. Complete the mission, acquire a star. The more stars you have, the further you can progress. You can also try to complete a harder task to obtain a key. A lot of these start off casually, but of course the difficulty ups itself later in the game, and some feel impossible to get. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter as long as you meet the elementary requests and finish the adventure. But after that deflating end to the tale, I went back and completed every single race, did my darn hardest to achieve as many keys as I possibly could, grab as many stars as emotionally possible, even with a few platinum desires, and achieved my personal best. Nothing new had unlocked. I did the final race again, but nothing new happened. I'm sorry if there is more, but I didn't find it. If you have to obtain every single key and star to progress, well, good luck with that. I was losing my mind racing over and over again. Not that the gameplay is bad. In fact, it's very good. Any players from Sonic All-Star Racing will feel right at home here, as a lot of assets are ripped right from the predecessor. You can drift, you can perform stunt jumps, you can throw items, or wisps as they're represented in this title, and of course accelerate. Drifting or doing trick jumps can earn you a certain level of boost, as well as revving your car on each number at the start of the race. Also, unlike Sonic All-Star Racing with its transitions within the countdown, Team Sonic Racing actually stays put for you to calculate your revving in time. Now that's the right way to display it. A good change indeed. 3 levels of boosts exist. Orange for a small boost, purple for a medium boost, and blue for the biggest boost. To get these, you have to drift for as long as possible or twirl in the air more with the right analog stick, as long as you land on the ground accurately. You can also boost with the pads on the floor or with specific wisps from item boxes. Other wisps are attainable, and a lot of these are again the same from All-Star, but they've been reskinned. You have the rocket, the cube, spikes, the bomb, a ghost wisp. There are plenty of critters, but some of them are reserved for diverse characters. Use these to bring fear into your foes, and in case you're wondering, no, you cannot hit your colleagues. Luckily, this being a team-based game, you can pass your items onto your friends. Got a wisp you really do not need? Pressing the circle button will offer it to another player, in which they will either take your item or just ignore it. The ungrateful sod. It works vice versa. You can accept the items using the same button. Helping each other out like this increases your team bar, which I'll get onto in a second. You can also tailgate your leading teammate to earn 3 levels of boost pretty rapidly, and then you slingshot your way out once you're happy. A neat new feature. Another incredible element is near missing your friend when they're down. It will give them an instant blast of speed. Performing these 2 tricks, as well as hitting enemies with wisps to slow them down, surges your team bar, and when that is full, it's time for I'm joking, it's called Team Ultimate, and it gives you and your group the biggest and longest adrenaline rush in your playthrough for a limited time. Hit other races along the way to prolong your boost. At the end of the race, each character earns a number of points conditional to their final position. It tallies the team's overall score, and whoever is on top wins the race. Admittedly, I love this idea that they've injected into the works, and it's a nice welcome change to actually help others out. You now get a mix of competitiveness and cooperation in your driving experience. As for the controls, it's near identical to Sonic and All-Star Racing, but not in a good way. The drifting still feels like I'm on the ice. I know these things take some time to master, but I do wish there was a sensitivity option in the controls for when using the analog stick. I also couldn't help but feel the pace of the races were slower. You have rings on the track that apparently increases your top speed, but I never felt like I was going faster. You can also bump up the difficulty, and again, that is meant to speed things up, but the pace felt the same, just the computers became a lot more difficult. I tried All-Star again afterwards, and in reality it isn't that much faster, but maybe I missed the dynamic occurrences in the maps, with the speedboats and all the transformations. In Team Sonic Racing, 99% of it is all on ground. You've got 1 or 2 times where you have huge leaps, and of course you have many in-map obstacles to cut you off your track, but I just felt there was less going on in comparison. Still, it's definitely an enjoyable experience, plenty of excitement, a lot of frustration, and different types of events. You have survival mode, meaning after each lap, up to 1 to 3 characters get eliminated from the race, depending how many teams are racing respectively. A lot of tense but fun action here. You've got the ring challenge, in which you're alone with no team or adversaries, to rack up a score with the number of rings you collect. But you can also drift into the rings to increase your time limit. It's okay, but rings get scarce pretty quick, and it's near intolerable to get the platinum star. Well, for me anyway. There's traffic attack, avoid the annoying TV monitors, hit the red lasers for more time, pretty standard. I got 1 platinum, but the rest were either gold or the minimum silver. Not a bad mode, but more frustrating than anything. Daredevil Races, these are the bane of my life. You have to near miss the signpost to gain points, but near miss and skid on the red side and you'll gain a multiplier and keep it each time you repeat it. Sounds fair enough, but these signposts are solid, and if you hit them, it takes forever to get moving again, and it doesn't count towards points and you lose your multiplier. And the target requirements, Gordon Bennett. There was one where I drifted past every single red-sided signpost without missing one, and I barely made silver. I took it and ran. No way can I get platinum. The last one I'll mention is Egg Pan Assault. This is really easy, my friends. Destroy as many egg pans as you can to gain a high score. Some require more than 1 hit. Some are protected with spike or bomb wisps, but they are worth more time and points. You get to use 3 rocket wisps each item box you pass to help out, and I legitimately got a platinum on one of them. The others I got to silver, as they were tougher. But then I learnt something. Yeah, you can just cheat. Easy platinum, easy keys. Works on every single eggplant challenge. I can see this getting patched really quick. There are other modes, but I'll let you discover these for yourself, but there are plenty to go around to keep the game fresh. Or maybe you want to freshen up your gear instead. You can go to the mod pod and spend your R tokens on a mysterious prize. Just spend 10 coins at a time to unlock from a common to a legendary piece of equipment. Or even bonus prizes that you can use to equip before a race. For example, you can start the race with a rocket or gain the ability to build your team bar quicker, etc. You can find all of your new toys in the garage, where you get to pimp up your ride. Okay, too much Rouge. Here you can tailor your transportation with vinyl, paints of all kinds, to whatever colour you want. Modify the chassis, roll in different wheels, there's a lot of modification you can do here. I gave Sonic a red car, Shadow had a nice contrasting beast, and I don't know what I did with Omega. A lot of these are just for showing off, but some adjustments can affect the way you drive later on, so bear that in mind. Now you are ready to take your new look to the tracks. My only complaint is that even though I edited all 3 of Shadow's team, it only applies to the character you choose to race with. The other members just go back to standard. I wanted to show my Gleam team. It's a shame really, because with the quality graphics this game has to offer, it would have been amazing. The looks on all of the characters are top notch, all of the tracks have plenty of aspect, and even though none of them alternate, you still have background movements with Boo playing Peekaboo. So much presentation that this installment has to offer. I like the way it gives you a glimpse of the track to come, the confident look on your team with their own camera angle. Everything in-game I cannot fault. I wish the cutscenes we got given had a little more animation to them, rather than these drawings sliding in and out in front of a backdrop, as it feels like I'm playing a fan game at times. But except for that criticism, the style is smooth and clear with no real grumbles. And to complement that, the music choices fit very well with their representations. Except for a few menu jingles that I couldn't care less about, all of the tunes are very good. I'm sure I don't need to tell you that a lot of these are remixes from older games, but the composers really have pumped up the beats to these. Some of them I can just casually listen to as I race. But then there's these masterpieces that you'll be bumping your head to. To everyone who was behind the creation of Team Sonic Racing, did a terrific job. The new team mechanic is superb, and I can't praise it enough. There are plenty of game modes to keep you hooked, an insane amount of customization is a welcome feature, and the aesthetics are more than adequate. I can't help but feel there's more to the story, and I'm sorry I missed it, but as it stands, it's just a cheap and cheerful tale. There are very little frame drops, but they do occur, and often the sound effects lost its sync with the rest of the game, but it's uncommon and minor. But the important question is Team Sonic Racing worth buying? That's a tough nut to crack. In all honesty, I say this game slightly edges Sonic All-Star Racing Transformed, because not everyone likes being at sea or in the air, and would prefer their wheels firmly on the ground. And with that satisfying teamwork gimmick, it really brings a new characteristic to think about. Ironically, there is a single mode where you don't have to work as a team, but if you want to do that, just play the precursor. Team Sonic Racing as of release day is averagely priced at £30, and in all honesty, if you have Sonic All-Star, I would wait for a price drop. If you're not in possession of that, then by all means go for it. I know what you lot are thinking, what about the multiplayer? Well, the servers were only available 3 days a week, and even then that was only for 2 hours. All times I was unavailable. But now with the game being released, the servers are up, and I have a solution. I plan to get this game on Steam for PC and do some online races then, and I feel like live streaming it. All of my sponsors will have priority to this event, if they own the game of course, but if you fancy racing me, well, be prepared to win, because I'm not the greatest at this game. So, join me on Saturday the 25th of May, 7 PM BST, where we can go head to head and test out the multiplayer phase of the game. Thank you all so much for watching. A huge thanks to my sponsors for making this video possible. Become a sponsor yourself with the join button below, or subscribe for free and ring the bell to be notified of future videos. Have a wonderful day everyone, and take care.